I'm just kind of over buying new stuff right now, and I want to try to commit to doing a low buy, at least for this beginning portion of 2025. Honestly, I think every year I just slowly get better and better and become more intentional with my purchases and try to make smarter choices for myself. And right now at this point, I just feel so overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that I have, and I'm kind of over it. I've kind of been thinking about doing this low buy for a while now, and I just wanted to talk about it today as I do my makeup. I'm going to talk about why I'm ready for this change and why I've kind of had this shift in my mindset. I'm also going to talk about product categories I'm no longer allowing myself to buy and why, but then also some products I am allowed to buy, but some rules that I'm putting in place and the questions that I ask myself whenever either I receive a new product in PR or I'm tempted to buy a new item. So if that all sounds good, let's get started. All right, let's pop on some makeup and chat. I'm kind of air drying my hair in a different way right now. I'm trying to use these like little pins to help my curls, so just ignore the crazy hair. But I want to start by talking about why I'm ready for a change. So when I kind of first became an influencer and started receiving PR, that was about 8 years ago now. And when influencing was so new to me and receiving PR was so new, I was so excited about it. So pretty much every brand that would reach out to me, no matter what kind of brand it was, I would always say yes to the PR. Because honestly, who doesn't want to receive free stuff? And this was the first time in my life where like people just wanted to give me free stuff, free skincare, free makeup. But I'd say now, and probably within the last 3 years, I've become a lot pickier about the PR that I choose to accept and even the PR that I choose to open and use. And even though I'm trying to be a lot more selective about the brands that I allow to send me PR, the products that I choose to try out, and I just feel like I have so much stuff and I'm just feeling very overwhelmed with it. I'd also say that within the last 2 years, I've become slightly better about the products that I choose to buy. I've gotten a bit better at impulse buying a lot less and just like trying to make smarter choices for myself. And I just kind of found that because I have so much stuff, I just find myself using less of my collection overall. I tend to just stick with the products that I know work for me to kind of avoid the decision fatigue of picking different products to use. And it's kind of funny, if you look at my collection compared to some other beauty influencers who have like actual Alex drawers behind them full of makeup, I'm like, how do they not feel that way? How are they going through all of their products? But realistically, they most likely aren't. So I definitely want to do more of a low buy just because of the sheer amount of products that I have, and like it just feels like too much for one person to ever get through, to ever use up. But nowadays I'm also just kind of less impressed with the new beauty launches overall. It just kind of feels like every launch is the same nowadays. You know, we have so many brands just duping each other and like going back and forth with the dupes. Like nothing is really that new or innovative, so I'm just kind of like bored by the new launches. And then you have brands that are releasing new products like every few weeks or so, but I really miss when brands would do like 2 big launches a year. They would do one in fall and one in spring, and that would just build up so much hype, and it was a lot more exciting to be in the beauty industry, you know, a few years ago. And just the constant newness and the way we see people talk about products online where every new launch is someone's new obsession and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best item ever. Like, I'm so sick of that. And I'm also ready for a no buy just because the priorities in my life have kind of shifted quite a bit, especially within the last couple months. It has now been 2 months since my breakup, and the place that I live right now, it's pretty freaking big, especially for one person. And this is now going to be my 4th year living in this apartment, and I really haven't spent any time decorating it at all. So now that I am alone and single and living in this big area by myself for the first time, I've been in the mood just to kind of change up my space a little bit to make it more of my own, and I want to start decorating for the first time. So where I am right now in my upstairs, this room is kind of my makeup room where I film and keep all of my makeup and everything. And there's a bedroom right next door that used to be my ex's office, and I'm kind of turning that into like my own personal chill space. So I have my yoga mat in there that I've been doing like meditations and yoga on. I have this really cozy chair in there that I love to just like sit and scroll TikTok, maybe do some editing, or just like relax in that chair. It's like my favorite chair in the world. But that's like all I have in that room right now. So I really want to add like decorations and lamps and things on the wall, candles, pillows, and blankets. So it's like I'd rather spend my time and energy focusing on making this space more for me than buying the newest blush launch. You know, I really just don't care that much about new makeup nowadays. I also don't wear makeup as frequently as you might think I do. I really only wear a full face of makeup maybe 2 to 3 times a week, and that's when I'm filming. Like most days of my life where I'm gymming, maybe doing some errands, you know, just editing, like I don't wear makeup. So again, why do I feel the need to keep bringing all this new makeup into my life when I know it's gonna take me forever to get through it? Especially because in 2023, I did my very first project pan, and doing that project pan made me realize how long it actually takes to go through products and finish them up. For example, I've been saying I've been working on this Summer Fridays lip balm for probably 2 years now, and I keep saying I'm so close to the end, but like there's still product in here that I need to get to. So that's kind of why I want to do a low buy slash no buy right now, because I'm already overwhelmed by the amount of products in my collection, so why would I keep adding more? I'm disappointed and bored by the new launches, and I'd rather spend my money on other things in my life right now than just new makeup. So to make this low buy a bit easier for me, I thought it'd be helpful to set some kind of rules, and starting with a bunch of categories of products I'm not going to allow myself to buy any more in. Starting with perfumes, because I have just been so into fragrance recently. I mean, it's also pretty trendy too, so that's definitely why. There have just been more and more fragrances coming out, and in 2024, I kind of realized I am so into vanilla scents, so I've been trying a lot of new vanilla scents, and I found a lot of fragrances I really like, specifically from Kayali and Fleur, and so I have a lot of like mini size bottles, and even those like little travel ones you get from Sephora when you check out, you know? And I just feel like I have a lot of perfume right now, and I found ones that I really like, so I should get myself to use them. I feel like perfume is one of those categories where people, including myself, like to save them for a special event, but if you think about it, that just really doesn't make sense. Why would you save a product for so long just to use it on a special day, and it might even expire by the time it gets to that point? And honestly, every day can be a special day, and you deserve to wear the products that you love, and I should get to wear the perfumes that I love, and I want to smell like that every day, even if it's just for myself, you know? So I would like to actually get through some of my mini bottles of perfume before I decide to buy more. I'm really close to finishing my bottle of Kayali Yum. I have one of the mini sizes, and like, okay, let's finish that up and then we can move on. Next category is powders, and this is going to include loose and pressed powders. Like, I am just done buying powders, because in 2024, I finally discovered how much I absolutely love the Huda Beauty loose powder. So for me right now, this is like my holy grail powder. So why should I continue the search for powders and continue to try out new ones if I already really love the one that I have? And this is a brand new tub of powder. And again, because I've done Project Pan before, I know how long it takes me to go through powders. And aside from the Huda Beauty powder, I also have a lot of others in my collection that I really like too. So I really just want to get more use out of the products that I already have and already love. My next category that I'm not going to allow myself to buy more from is press-on nails. Now, honestly, since my breakup, I've kind of been back into doing more things just for myself, like self-care wise. So I've been back into putting on my press-on nails. I have been self-tanning a little bit more just because it really does make me feel more confident. And I want to say I have like 8 or 10 pairs of press-on nails that I need to get through. And I also keep the extras of my nails. So like, I just did this set a couple days ago, and I have all these leftovers from this set. And so I'll mix and match these with other leftovers from other nail sets to kind of make like a custom set with different colors and everything. So it's like I have to set this rule for myself that I really want to get through the nails that I already have before I can buy more, because I love buying more nails like for each season, but I just need to make it work with the nails that I already have in my collection and get through some of them. I'm also adding body washes and body scrubs to this list, also body lotions. Like, I have at least 5 half full body washes I need to get through. I know I have about 3 scrubs, and I have, I don't know, 3 or 4 bottles of lotion to get through. Like I said, I've been more into fragrances, and even body care as well, I think has really blown up in these last 2 years. So, you know, more and more brands are coming out with stuff. I've tried like some Fenty Beauty stuff that I've really liked recently. You know, those little mini body butters that Fenty comes out with for the holidays? I still have 2 years ago set. I have last year's set. So I have like 5 of these little tubs of body butter that I love how they smell, but it's like, Angela, use them up. Stop buying new stuff. Sometimes it feels like part of me doesn't want to be without an item because I love it so much. The world is not going to end if I finish this product and can't get it again, and I should really truly love it and enjoy it while I have. And that kind of goes for like everything in life, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm saying this a lot, but I just really want to be happier with the things that I already have and not always be searching for the newest thing ever. I'm also not going to allow myself to buy any more lip liners or really accept them in PR either, because I have so many lip liners and it's not even like my favorite step of my makeup routine. I honestly kind of dread lining my lips. I really don't like it on myself that much. I do feel like lip liners have become more popular, but I'm just like not on that boat yet. And again, I own at least like 10 different lip liners, so I just don't need to be on the search for another lip liner, especially in a category of makeup that I already don't love that much. I'm also done buying setting sprays because, again, I think I found my favorite setting sprays. The Charlotte Tilbury one that I just used to blend out my concealer. I also have a new bottle of the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray that has been a staple for me for years. I have it back there in my drawer, so like I'm good on setting spray. So I think these categories will be pretty easy for me to stick to because, again, most of them I either have a lot of that product or I already have a holy grail in that category. So then there are going to be products that I am going to allow myself to buy, but I'm definitely going to set some rules and boundaries for myself. The products that I'm going to allow myself to buy, starting with eyeshadows. Although I don't really wear eyeshadow a lot in my personal life day to day, like that is what I built my channel on, and I'm really good at doing eyeshadow tutorials, and especially if a new palette launches, maybe for more like a mainstream brand, I'm definitely going to purchase that palette and do tutorials with it. I'm also gonna let myself buy like foundations and concealers, but here's the rule that I'm setting with myself. I have to see it in store to get my perfect color match. Because for me, I live about 30 minutes away from the closest Sephora or Ulta, so I really rarely go in stores. I buy pretty much everything online. And because of that, I am always guessing my shade online, and as much as I try my best, I still get it wrong a lot of the times, or it's like the undertone is just slightly off. And I've had to declutter so many foundations because of that, and it's just so wasteful. So I want to be stricter with myself. And if it's like, I really want to try this brand's new foundation, okay, take the time and effort to go in store, try it out, find your perfect shade, and then you can have the product. You know, kind of like make it a little bit harder for me to get that product. I'm setting that rule in place for foundations and concealers, and also blushes and bronzers as well. Pretty much any kind of color product like that. And that's going to be kind of tricky to stick to because blush is probably my favorite makeup category. I love buying blush. I love trying out new blushes. Like, it's just my favorite right now. I know that YSL just launched new blushes. Just today, Natasha Denona announced some blush duos, and like, I'm very tempted. Like, that first little urge to be like, ooh, I want to try that new blush. But I gotta be like, okay, if you want to try it, go see it in store, swatch it, then find the shade you want to buy and go from there. Which also could be fun for me though, because I do kind of need to get out of the house more, and if I have to go to Sephora to swatch out some products, I'll make it a fun day for myself, you know? I'm also gonna be okay with buying new lip products, specifically lipsticks, like those new MAC nude lipsticks I have been thinking about for weeks, and we'll talk about this in a second, but I think I'm gonna buy one now because I have been wanting it for weeks now. And it's a product I just keep thinking about, and there's one shade that looks like it'll be a really good shade for me, but I'm not going to allow myself to buy any kind of squeezy lip products like this because I have enough of these. Like I said earlier, I've been trying to pan this Summer Fridays one for so long now. I just got this new ColourPop one in PR and I actually really like it. I also have a Peach and Lily one I really like. I also have the Tower 28 kind of versions of these squeezy tube glosses. It's just a category that I have a lot in right now, and it doesn't make sense to keep trying or buying more of those. So I'm going to allow myself to purchase from those categories, but I can't just be blindly buying makeup anymore. I have set some rules in place for myself and questions that I need to ask myself whenever I see one of these new launches. The first thing that I find is really helpful for me is to make a wish list. So immediately when I see a product, I'm like, ooh, I'm even kind of interested in it. Let's say Natasha Denona's new blushes. I saw it on Trendmood this morning, and I keep this note in my notes app of just like things I want to buy, and I kind of organize it by month. So what I do is I write down the product, I write down the date I'm interested in it, and the price of the item, because that's a very good visual for me to like actually just see the price written out, because sometimes you're like, wait, that product is not worth that amount of money. So whenever whenever I get that impulse to buy a product, I immediately add it to my wish list, and I don't let myself impulse buy it right away. So what I found with these wish lists is that I'll try to revisit that list, every maybe 2 weeks or so, and probably 8 times out of 10, I have completely forgotten about the item that I originally wanted so bad. But I find that if you wait maybe just a week or two after a new product launches, after all the initial hype kind of dies down on social media, and you kind of get over that FOMO feeling, because I totally get that feeling. I get it too. Because I know it can be so tempting when you see influencers on social media, just like everyone's talking about this new product and you keep seeing it everywhere and you're like, oh my gosh, do I need this? Hold off for a week or two and you'll probably realize that you really didn't need it. So like I was just saying about those new MAC lipsticks, this was kind of an exception for me, because when I first saw those launch, I was like, oh my gosh, I am kind of always on the hunt for like the perfect nude lip. I mean, who isn't? I almost bought like 2 shades right away, but I was like, no, let me write it on my list. And it's been probably about 2 or 3 weeks now since those lipsticks have launched, and the shade Acting Natural is still calling my name. I think about that lipstick like every day, and I've been seeing more and more people wear that lipstick, and I see it on them and I'm like, yes, I'm probably gonna like that. So right now I probably am gonna let myself buy that product because it's a shade I really want. I've been thinking about it for weeks, and I do think it's something that I don't already have in my collection. Now, these are the questions that I want to ask myself whenever either I'm receiving a new product in PR or if it's something that I want to buy myself with my own money. This first question really only works for items I receive in PR, but the question is, would I purchase this with my own money? Because like I said earlier, as an influencer, I get a lot of stuff in the mail weekly, and a lot of the times, like, I didn't know the product was coming to me because maybe brands don't really tell you beforehand. So while it is exciting to get new things in PR, when I open it, I like to ask myself, would I buy this with my own money? And was I already interested in this item before I received it? Like, was it already on my radar? Was this something I saw on Trendmood and that I was already feeling excited about? So if the answer to both of those questions are no, I usually won't keep the item unless I think the product would make good content, because at the end of the day, this is my job. My job is to create content. And while maybe a product I receive in PR might not fit my personal preferences perfectly, that was a lot of P's, it can still be helpful for you guys for me to post about products even though it's not perfect for me. Or if it's just a really popular brand that I know people are excited about, then I probably will use that product and try it out for you guys. I am going to do a little bit of shout out, and I wanted to use a palette today that I have not used in a while, but it kind of goes with like my coloring today. It is the Sigma Beauty Ivy Quad. I'll zoom in a little bit here for you guys. Now, if I'm interested in a product, I want to buy it myself, I think the first question to ask yourself is, do I see myself using this product regularly? Like, is this a type of product that you already use in your collection? Is it a product that actually fits your preferences, or are you just excited about it because it's the newest hot item? And then I think it's helpful to ask yourself, how many of this item do I already own? And like, actually tell yourself that number and really quantify it. Like I said, that was the reason why I don't want to buy any more powders, because I know I have at least 3 to 4 loose powders in my collection already that I do really like to use. So it's like, I know realistically I don't need another powder. I'm even trying to think to myself, like, is there a category of either skin or makeup that I only have one product in? I don't think so. Like, realistically, I could not buy another skincare item or makeup product for at least like 3 years and probably be okay and still have enough makeup to get me through. I've seen people like Sarah Rose do videos where it's like they actually counted what they have in their collection and how long it takes for them to actually go through that kind of product, and you realize you have at least like 30 years worth of makeup in your collection. If it takes you 1 year to go through a blush, you have 30 blushes. That's like 30 years of blush. Just pulled that number out of nowhere, but you know what I mean. And then another question is, does this add value to your collection? So for example, the new YSL powder blushes that just launched, I thought they looked so beautiful. I love the packaging, and in my head I was like, oh well, I don't have a YSL blush, like I would love to try this formula. And all of those things are true, but I do not need another powder blush in my collection. I'd also say I'm probably way more into cream blushes these days than powder blushes. So I think that's also when it helps to look at your actual makeup preferences as well. Like, sure, I love a blush, but I would rather have a new cream blush over a new powder blush. Or let's say like a new foundation comes out. Is this the type of foundation that's actually in your preferences? Like for me, I love a more medium coverage foundation. So if a brand came out with a skin tint, I'm probably less likely to buy that, even if everyone is raving about it online. I know that deep down, I don't love a skin tint. I know that Kelly has talked about this a lot too, but I think it can also be really easy to try to want to fill the gaps in your collection. So for example, I don't really have a lot of deeper lip colors in my collection because I know now that I love a pinky nude lip. That is just what I prefer on myself. That's what I feel the best in. So some people might think, oh, well, I don't have a, deeper mauve color like this in my lipstick line, but do you actually even like that kind of color, or are you just trying to fill like this imaginary gap in your collection? And then again, ask yourself too, do I already have a holy grail in this category? So again, for me, bringing up setting sprays, I absolutely love the 2 setting sprays that I have, the Charlotte Tilbury and the Urban Decay. So if someone launches a new setting spray, I might be kind of excited about that at first, but then I think to myself, I already really like the 2 that I already have in my collection, so I don't need a third. And most likely it won't be better than the 2 that I already have and love. I'm kind of going for a little bit of like a grungier look today. I don't know. I put the shade Mead in my crease and my lower lash line, and then I used Bourbon to deepen up that lower lash line, and then I just placed Starlight all over my lid and kind of blended this up into my crease. Has a little bit of sparkle in it, but I think it's kind of cool. You can use Bright from my palette in my inner corner. Another question I've been asking myself is specifically if I receive it in PR, would I like this product if CoverGirl made it? Because I think sometimes it's so easy to get just really hooked on the packaging of a product, but if I ask myself like, what if this was in CoverGirl cheap packaging, would I still like this product? And usually the answer is no. I don't know, it's kind of a random question, but let me know if that like stuck with you at all. Adding a little bit of that deepest shade Clove to my upper lash line. I just did mascara and now I'm just blinking out my lips with my foundation brush. But honestly, just in general too, life is getting really freaking expensive. And to be so real with you, I'm pretty nervous for these next 4 years and beyond as an American, and I think the smartest thing to do right now is to save and impulse buy less. But I'm really excited to start implementing these changes and these questions that I'm going to ask myself, not just when buying beauty products and like skincare, but also just like anything that I'm buying at the moment. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I really want to reduce the color and feel less overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that I have. And the first step with that is actually using the products that I already have in my collection and really appreciating them and enjoying them instead of always searching for the next new and best thing. And I want to make smarter and more thoughtful choices for myself moving forward, because I really do find that those products that I really spend time thinking about and the products that I'm more intentional with buying tend to be the products that I do end up loving in my collection. Whereas impulse purchases and the products that I buy kind of with the fear of missing out, I usually end up regretting those purchases anyways. So that's where I'm at right now. I want to do a little low buy reset. I don't really know how long I'm going to make this last for. I'm not really sticking to a timeline or anything. I've also heard from a lot of you that you guys are also doing some kind of low buy or no buys. So if you want to see some other videos around this topic, let me know what you want to see. Whether I do more shop my stash videos, maybe I attempt to do a Project Pan again. I also kind of like the idea of doing anti-hauls and like taking these new launches and seeing what I already have in my collection that's similar and kind of doing a video on that. Let me know your thoughts. All right, that's going to be it from me. So again, I'm going to list and link all the products and brushes I used today down below. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.